Hello Chocks and Chocolates, and in between Roberto for another video review. It's a Lidl Easter egg special. Yes, we've got the salted caramel milk chocolate laid egg and a caramelised biscuit, basically Biscoff milk chocolate laid egg as well. Yeah, so the deluxe range, but both basically Lidl Easter eggs. You can see it's got Lidl on the back there, but there we go. So they look very tasty though, these ones, don't they? Definitely don't market these ones, but quite expensive, about £8 each I think they were. Which I think is a bit much for Lidl, to be honest with you. I reckon it should be about £6, but nonetheless they do look very nice. So it's salted caramel milk chocolate laid egg, this one. A rich milk chocolate egg with a salted caramel flavoured layer, or flavour layer. But you can see it's not all the way around basically, it's only in bits of it. And I assume it's the same with this one. So caramelised biscuit milk chocolate layered egg. So caramelised biscuit's basically Biscoff. Whenever you see that, it's Biscoff basically. And you can even see it's got like the Biscoff colour sort of, hasn't it? You know, sort of. Not quite the same red, but you know. A rich milk chocolate egg with a caramelised biscuit layer. Right, there you go. Yeah, the red's a bit more... my camera's not quite coping with the red, I think. You know, you can see it keeps changing. Alright, well, we'll see what happens, but we'll just have to go with it. Alright, so yeah, so quite nice. It got interesting packaging on the bottom, quite colourful. You see they have like completely different sort of, you know, packaging on the sides there, which is interesting. It means that it looks like sometimes that Lidl do more in the range than they are, because some of them you'll see like that, and some of them you'll see like this. And if you go, is that a different one, you know, and it's not. But yeah, there we go. Alright. Let's have a look then. So the caramelised biscuit inclusions, or well, ingredients, nutrition information. Milk chocolate laid egg with a caramelised cinnamon biscuit flavour layer between milk chocolate. So there we go, there's all the ingredients there. Right, milk chocolate contains cocoa size 35% minimum, milk size 21% minimum. Right, so it's got palm fat in there as well. 400 grams, 569 calories, 37.5 grams of fat, 21 of which are saturates, and per serving 45 grams, 256 calories, 16.9 grams of fat, 9.5 of which are saturates. And super vegetarians, 225 grams for the whole thing. It is 5 servings, fair trade. I'm always looking to that if it's of importance to you, because it's mass balanced, so not all of this will be fair trade cocoa basically, it'll be mass balanced, which generally means that we include some fair trade and non-fair trade, and there's usually a percentage. We don't tell you what the percentage is here that will be fair trade. As I say, could be wrong there. Look into it if it's important to you. So vegetarians, get in touch, stuff like that. Find out more at lidl.co.uk, lidl.ie. Alright, very interesting. Yeah, so let's have a look at the other one then. This probably weighs the same. Yes, it does. So vegetarians again, fair trade, got the same shenanigans going on. So chocolate taste, cocoa size 35% minimum, milk size 21% minimum. I think that's the same as the other one. Yes, it is. And calories. 127 calories, 31.6 grams of fat, 19.9 of which are saturates, that's per 100 grams, and per 45 grams, I think that's like a fifth, isn't it? Yes. 237 calories, 40.2 grams of fat, 9 of which are saturates. You can see them side by side there. The caramelised biscuit one is more calories and yeah, more fat and things. Alright, there we go. Yeah, so there's much more to say, quite nice packaging. So I think we'll just... So what will we do? Yeah, maybe we'll give them an open up here, and then we'll move down and give them a bit of a smash, what have you. So they got a little sticker thing there covering it, so we'll just give that a bit of a break with the old knife. So this is the caramelised biscuit one. See what it's up against. Okay, so quite loose. Yeah, quite loose. So not quite. It's quite a small egg, a plinth there. You know, certainly a lot smaller than the box. Really, it's about actual size, isn't it? Really, actually, there. To be fair, almost. Anyway, maybe it's slightly bigger actually, but yeah, there we go. So that's what they look like. And so it feels quite hefty. That smell. Maybe there's a slight Biscoffy smell, but nothing too dramatic. Let's try the caramel one. See if that looks or any different. I imagine it looks exactly the same. But you know, you never know. Could be surprised. I'll to get into it for some reason. I don't know why. Okay. It's very well packaged, really. You've got the thing on the top there. But yeah, you can see here, basically the same. There we go. So yeah, so you can't really tell which one's what. This is the Biscoff one. That's the salted caramel one, but you can't really tell the difference. A bit of scuffage down that one. They look alright, don't they? They look okay. But yeah. Alright, well I think we'll have to give them a bit of a smash. So see what like on the inside. So let's move ourselves down and do just that. Right, okay, we're going to these two Lidl Easter eggs. Bit of a smash. So we've got I think this is the caramelised biscuit one. I think this is the salted caramel, and we'll find out. Yeah, don't know if we can really measure these particularly in any meaningful way. I mean, well, I guess we can kind of do it in a meaningful way, but you know what I mean. A bit difficult to see. There's roughly about 13, hang on a sec. Hard for me to say for sure, maybe about 12.5, 13 centimetres maybe. Or maybe not, I mean, look at that. No, yeah. Yeah, 12 or 13 centimetres, something like that, isn't it? Hard to say, but there we go. But for what it's worth, and the width, and another difficult one. I think you're talking 8.5, 9 centimetres, something like that. But all right, well, they're all very plain on the outside, and there's nothing really to sort of talk about, I don't think. We just need to get into them. So I don't know what's the best way to get into these ones. Again, could be potentially quite messy, but you know, it's the cost of doing business, isn't it, with these things? So, right, yeah, seems let's have to smash it. I don't know if they're going to smash very well, these, you know. Let's give it a try. So this is hopefully the Biscoff one. Well, look at that. So it's it's come off there. So see the immediate problem there. Quite difficult to actually get into this, you know. Okay. Yeah, so that's a bit of a it's kind of problem. Look at that! Wow, goodness me, the goodness me, look at that. That is pretty full of goodness there. Once it opens, it's opened. You know what I mean? Let's try this this one as well then. The caramel one. These are pretty indulgent, I think you'd say. Goodness. Okay, wow. And again, look at that. So they don't crack very easy because the caramel and Biscoff is holding it together, but goodness. Yeah, look at that. Looks really nice, doesn't it? Hopefully it's nice caramel, and that's the only thing, isn't it? Hopefully it's a nice Biscoff equivalent. But you can see really thick sensors there. Wow, it does look very indulgent indeed, very indulgent. They do look very nice. Yeah, I don't know if there's loads to say on this one really. I mean, there's some bits, as I say, that don't have any Biscoff in. See this bit of the egg there? Yeah, it's not got any in it, you know. So, but it does seem to be in the minority. I will say I was a bit worried that it would be mainly just, you know, bits without Biscoff in, but it seems to be the minority is actually the bits without Biscoff. So yeah. About 3mm there, but quite a thick layer here. See, 8.5 there. So yeah, very nice. And then this caramel one here. Just, check it's on 0. Okay, so yeah, quite a thick bit here. 8mm again. There's any thin parts. I guess loads of thin parts, but there's some thinner bits than others. Maybe just here, 4mm. I'm sure there's thinner bits, but yeah. No, very nice. Look, they do look very good, I must say. I feel like I was a bit worried. I don't know, still not sure if they're worth £8, but certainly feel a bit more reassured having seen them like this. Now, yeah, but I think we just need to give them a taste, don't we? Really, we can see the impact of this one here, where it just looks. Don't think I might make it out there. It's just big impact. Yeah, it's all floppy, you know, because it's it's all just held together. It doesn't smash very well, as I say. That's the only problem with it. You can see here flopping apart, which is what you'd want, I think, isn't it? Really, it's what you'd want. But yeah, well, gotta give these a taste. Let's thumbs up and do just that. Okay, everyone. Okay, we're gonna give these. Yes, these little indulgent eggs, deluxe range, caramelised biscuit, milk chocolate laid egg, and salted caramel milk chocolate laid egg. Yeah, a taste. See which one is the best. Basically, this is Biscoff essentially. That's just salted caramel, as I say. So interesting one. So yeah. So then we'll probably just rate them individually. They look very indulgent, I must say. You saw before, quite thick amounts of Biscoff and caramel in there. They're definitely. I thought it would be, as I say, in the minority, the bits that are filled with Biscoff and caramel, but it certainly isn't. You know. So yeah. All right. Let's try the Biscoff one first, I think. So we've got this chunky bit here. Let's give it a bit of a go. Basically tastes like Biscoff spread, basically, in between two layers of chocolate. And the chocolate does peel apart a bit quite easy. I don't know how they've made this, but very nice. I mean, it does taste just like Biscoff spread. I was trying to sort of peel off a bit that didn't have any Biscoff in, but even that, you know, has come across with Biscoff in it. Just to see if I could taste the chocolate itself, you know. But yeah, it really does seem very full of Biscoff, I must say, even the thinner bits. So I'm very impressed with this, actually, very impressed. Yeah, I think it's a really good product, actually. As I say, it's like Biscoff's bed itself. It's quite subtle. It's quite a subtle taste, but it's nice and it works very well. I like it. You know, it does taste just like Biscoff. As I say, Biscoff's bed. It's really nice. And the chocolate, you know, it doesn't really stand out too much, but it doesn't need to really. It's just accompanying the Biscoff route, to be honest with you, and it works just well to do that. Well, I'm very impressed with this. I really thought, let's say, you know, I really thought it just would be lots of it that just didn't have Biscoff in it, but it seems like all of it's got Biscoff in. Just some of it's got bigger bits than others, basically. You know, if I sort of snap off this bit here, you know, it does have Biscoff in it. So I'm very impressed, actually. So basically, just both like Biscoff's bed. You know, liquefied Biscoff, essentially. It is quite a subtle one, but it does taste just like it. So, yeah. I think for me, this one, for me myself, it's probably a 4 out of 5. But I think, you know, for what it is and the fact it's so jam full of Biscoff and things like that, I think I've just got to bump it up and say 4.5 out of 5. It's a really indulgent egg, actually, for Biscoff lovers for sure. Really nice, that one. Yeah, really nice. Well, how's the other one fare up? The salty caramel one. I mean, that one, goodness me. Yeah, let's have a look. So we'll see. We've got here, we'll try. Let's just see, snap this bit off here, see if it does have salted caramel inside it. Even that sort of there does have a bit inside it. You know, it's kind of, some bits have more than others, basically, but it is in every part. Let's taste the bigger section. Interesting one. Kind of reminds me a bit more of I wouldn't say it's massively. It doesn't come across as massively salted caramel, like, to be honest with you. Just a bit more like regular caramel. It comes across a bit like Cadbury caramel, sort of, but maybe a bit sweeter in a way rather than buttery. But I like that rather than having sort of like the burnt caramel taste, getting a lot of sort of, you know, like Lindt caramels and stuff like this. Let's just try this one again. It's just like eating, yeah, like Cadbury caramel, basically, and like the sort of button form when you have little sections of it. In this case, you know, like caramel buttons, what have you. Yeah, it's really nice and it's really well done. Again, I feel like it's perhaps a bit more sickly than the Biscoff one, for obvious reasons, really. But it's, you know, but it's also because it's got a bit more of a taste to it as well, a bit more striking, of course, you know. So, I feel like it's really nice as well. As you can see here, it's a massive amount of caramel in this one. You see where the layers have come apart a bit there. I don't think I want to make out such a lot going on. It's a nice caramel, I think, actually. And so I'm not really getting much of a salted caramel taste to it. I mean, maybe it is, but it comes across a bit normal to me. But I must admit, over all the caramels I've had, sometimes some of them are a bit more salty than others with salted caramel. I don't know. Funny one, maybe I'm just missing the point sometimes. I do wonder about that, but you know, but nonetheless, it tastes just of caramel for me. But a nice one, very much so. I like it. I think I'd say it's a bit more like Cadbury caramel rather than any other caramel, you know, like a buttery, or maybe it's slightly sweeter, but yeah, not like a burnt caramel or anything like that. But I like that, I really do. But it's not really very salty, I would say. Yeah, maybe there is some sort of subtleness there. But no, I really like this one as well. I think they're really good. Is it better than the other one? I feel like for me it probably is. I feel like Biscoff is a bit more mundane for me. But obviously, if you do like Biscoff, you know, you're going to love this one. Let's try the Biscoff one again. I must have them both, you know. Caramel and Biscoff together. Yeah, I think for me, I do prefer the caramel one, I think. Because I feel like Biscoff spread just not quite as good. It's a bit subtle, you know, it's just a bit more subtle than the caramel, but they're both really nice. I must say they're really good, these ones, actually. I'd say £8 is not a bad price for them. It is expensive for Lidl, but there is something good about these. And I say they are completely full with Biscoff and caramel. You can see here, this one here, you think, oh, it's not going to be full at this point here, there. You can kind of see that it still is, you know. They are very full. Maybe it's not 100% full, but it's certainly like 90-95%. You know what I mean? It's very close. You can just see here. Look, I mean, look at this. Look at it all. You know, you saw when I tried to smash it as well. Really, you know, indulgent. You can see like the double layer going on here as well. You know, so if I snap this one, yeah, it's just caramel in there. You know. Yeah. Well. Yeah. Now I think the caramel for me again is a good 4.5 out of 5. If it had more textures in it, if both of them had something else in it, I think it'd be a 5 out of 5. But I think for me the caramel one is the slightly better one of the two. But if you're a massive Biscoff fan, then you know obviously you can't go wrong either way with either of them. They're both still very nice. Yeah, the Biscoff one's just a bit more subtle, I think, but nonetheless, it's got a lot of Biscoff in there, and as I say, it's Biscoff spread. I think people have been complaining about the recent dairy milk with Biscoff in it, the way it was just a bit too subtle with the Biscoff. Well, this one again is relatively subtle, but just because Biscoff's quite subtle anyway, but it certainly is a lot more prominent than the Cadbury dairy milk one with Biscoff. So this is what you want basically. You know, if you're a Biscoff fan and you want your Biscoff hit, this is what you want. So yeah, great stuff. And I will say in both cases the chocolate's relatively nothing to write home about, but you don't really taste it so much. It complements the filling, you know what I mean, rather than works against it. Unlike, as I say, the dairy milk with Biscoff, where the dairy milk was so prominent that a lot of people couldn't taste the Biscoff, and it was very subtle even if you could taste it. Whereas this one, as I say, the chocolate's there as a complement to the middle, to the sort of filling, rather than something that works against it. So yeah, so I don't think there's a problem with the chocolate perhaps not being the best in the world or anything like that. It does its job. No, brilliant products, these ones. Definitely recommend them. Very nice and indulgent and good quality, really, you know, and I'm impressed with these. And they really are full of stuff, full of filling for sure, and which is surprising as well. I was really expecting them to not really have much filling in, basically, especially from what was on the front of the box. You know, sort of seems to imply that, you know, there's only this bit here had caramel in there and this bit didn't, you know, but these bits do have caramel in as well. You know, it's just squeezed between the chocolate a bit more. So yeah, very impressed. Definitely recommend these ones. And as I say, and maybe I'm being a bit harsh, not giving them a 5 out of 5. Possibly they should be, really, but certainly nice eggs. I'd definitely recommend these ones. Alright guys, what do you think of this one? Yeah, what's your favourite of the two? And yeah, what would you like to see squeezed between 2 layers of chocolate as well in an Easter egg form? Let me know, yeah, what filling. It'd be quite interesting. There's many things you could have. Marshmallow, all sorts, couldn't you really? Fruit pastels, who knows, yeah. All sorts, let me know, what do you think? Take care guys, bye for now. See ya.